Hello friends, myself Sandeep N. Palle, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, KBT College of Engineering, Nasik. Today's topic is elastic constant and stress strain curve for ductile and brittle material. First of all, we will see elasticity, the property of a body by virtue of which it undergoes deformation when subjected to an external force and regain its original configuration, that is size and shape, upon the removal of deforming external force is called as elasticity. The second one is elastic limit. A material is said to be elastic when it undergoes a deformation by the applied force, and when we remove that force it regains its original shape and size, that is the deformation disappears. But it will happen when the intensity of stress is within certain limit, and that limit is nothing but the elastic limit. So the stress corresponding to the limiting value of external force up to and within which the deformation disappears completely upon the removal of external force is called elastic limit. The next point is Hooke's law. By experiment on a prismatic bar, a relation is established between the tensile force and the elongation of the bar. Mr. Robert Hooke in 1678 he has formulated the relationship between the force and the elongation is a linear one. So according to him, the stress developed in an elastic material is directly proportional to the strain up to the elastic limit, and the ratio of stress to strain is constant. The ratio of stress to strain is known as modulus of elasticity or elastic modulus or Young's modulus. The next point is Poisson's ratio. It is defined as the ratio of lateral strain to the longitudinal strain, and it is denoted by mu. We have already seen in the previous lecture Poisson's ratio. When an element is subjected to applied force, it undergoes some deformation along the length as well as the perpendicular dimension. When there is a change or deformation along the length, the strain obtained is known as longitudinal strain, and the strain obtained on the perpendicular dimension are known as lateral strain. If we take the ratio of lateral to the longitudinal strain, it is known as Poisson's ratio and it is denoted by mu. The next point is modulus of elasticity. It is defined as the ratio of normal stress to the normal strain. Here is the element having the length L subjected to a force. So there is a increase in length by delta L. So here is the stress force upon area. So within the elastic limit, the stress is directly proportional to strain, and the constant of proportionality is given by E, that is modulus of elasticity or Young's modulus. We know that stress is equal to force upon area and strain is equal to change in length upon original length. So if we put this value, we will get E is equal to PL upon A delta L. The next point is modulus of rigidity. It is the ratio of shear stress to shear strain and it is denoted by G. If we see here, a force is applied tangentially on this specimen and there is a deformation of the object or the specimen. The stress developed in this object is known as shear stress and the deformation is known as a shear strain. So if we take the ratio of these two, that is shear stress upon shear strain, that is known as modulus of rigidity. So G is equal to tau upon phi. The next one is bulk modulus. It is the ratio of volumetric stress to the volumetric strain and it is denoted by K. We can see the object or a cube having the volume V0. When the load is applied from all the direction, there is a change in volume. So from this change in volume to the original volume, we can get the volumetric strain, and the stress developed in this is a volumetric stress. So if we take the ratio of volumetric stress to the volumetric strain, we can get the value of bulk modulus, that is known as bulk modulus. So it is equal to sigma V upon EV. The next point is stress strain diagram for ductile material. The curve for ductile material can be obtained by conducting a tensile test on specimen. So specimen is loaded on the machine and load is applied and the corresponding deformation can be noted, and after that we get this curve. So here from point O to A there is a straight line. It indicates the stress is directly proportional to strain. So as it shows the proportionality, point A is known as proportional limit. Beyond point A there is a deviation in the nature. It deviates from a straight line and it reaches to the point B. Up to point B, if we load and if the load is removed, the specimen can regain its original shape and size. So point B is known as elastic limit, and the region up to B is known as elastic region. After point B, the specimen elongates or deforms permanently. So that is nothing but the yielding of the specimen starts. So there are 2 points, or the region is CD. It is known as a yield point, that is C is the upper yield point and D is the lower yield point. After D, because of the strain hardening, there is a requirement of large force. So the load is requirement is more, so the stress developed will be more, and the curve rising up. It reaches a value that is up to point E, where it shows the maximum value of the stress, which can be supported by the specimen. That is known as a ultimate point, and the stress at this point is a ultimate stress. After that, there is a formation of neck and the area is reduced, so requirement of load is reduced and the stress reduces, and it comes to the point F where the material fell, that is known as a fracture point, and the stress at this point is known as a rupture stress. So this is the stress strain diagram for ductile material. Next is stress strain diagram for brittle material. The material that fails in tension at relatively low values of strain are classified as brittle material, and the examples are concrete, glass, ceramic material. In this part from O to A, it is a proportional limit again. So point A is known as proportional limit. It is a straight line, but after A there is a little bit elongation of the rod and it fails at point B. So that point is known as a fracture point, or the stress at this point is known as a fracture stress. It is also the point of ultimate stress. So this is the stress strain diagram for brittle material. Factor of safety. Structure and elements, they are designed to withstand certain load. and that load is known as design load. But that load is certain fraction of the ultimate load, because that will give us safety against the variation material, variation in loading pattern, then some inaccuracies in the construction of the structure. So the factor of safety is defined as the ratio of ultimate load to the allowable load. Factor of safety is the ultimate load upon allowable load. We'll see one numerical. A 2.8 meter long member is 60 mm deep and 40 mm wide in cross section. It is subjected to axial tensile force of 210 kN. Determine the change in length, change in cross section dimension, change in volume. Assume E is equal to 200 GPa and mu equal to 0.3. We'll write down the given data. Length is 2800 mm, D is 60 mm, width is 40 mm, load P equal to 210 kN, modulus of elasticity 200 GPa and mu 0.3. First of all, we will calculate the area, that is 60 into 40, 2400 mm square. Before going for the actual calculation of length and dimension, first of all, we calculate some parameter. The first parameter is normal stress. So sigma is equal to P upon A, that is P is 210 into 10 raised to 3 upon area 2400. It comes out 87.5 Newton per mm square. So normal stress 87.5 Newton per mm square. Next point is longitudinal strain, that is the ratio of normal stress to the modulus of elasticity. So 87.5 upon 200 into 10 raised to 3, that will give longitudinal strain EL is equal to 4.37 into 10 raised to minus 4, and it is tensile in nature. Lateral strain ELT is equal to mu times the longitudinal strain. We know the relation about the Poisson's ratio. So ELT equal to mu into EL. So 0.3 into 4.37 into 10 raised to minus 4. So ELT is equal to 1.312 into 10 raised to minus 4. It is comprehensive in nature. Now the change in dimension. The first one is change in length delta L, that is equal to strain into original length. So longitudinal strain is 4.37 into 10 raised to minus 4 into length 2800. So there is a delta L comes out to be 1.225 mm, that is the increase in length. Second, change in depth delta D, that is lateral strain into depth, that is 1.312 into 10 raised to minus 4 into 60. It comes out to be 0.0078 mm, but that is decreasing, that is the lateral one. Again, change in width delta B, lateral strain into B, 1.312 into 10 raised to minus 4 into 40. It comes out to be 0.0052 mm, that is again decreasing because of lateral strain. Now, change in volume. We know that volumetric strain EV is nothing but strain in x direction, y direction and z direction. In x direction, the strain is longitudinal, so EL. In y and z direction, it is a lateral, ELT, ELT. So lateral strain is mu times the longitudinal strain, mu times the longitudinal strain. So we'll get lateral strain into 1 minus 2 mu. So E is 4.3, EL is 4.37 into 10 raised to minus 4 into 1 minus 2, mu is 0.3. It is EV is equal to 1.75 into 10 raised to minus 4. That is volumetric strain. So change in volume delta V is equal to volumetric strain into original volume. So it is 1.75 into 10 raised to minus 4, and the volume is 2800 into 60 into 40. It comes out to be delta V equal to 1176 mm cube, that is a increasing. So this is all about the elastic constant and the stress strain curve. Thank you.